Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday, the 14th day of April, 2025. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I hope you and your family enjoyed their weekend and that your weekend was safe and healthy. Speaking of health, blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who are out here every day trying to save lives, and those that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help, rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and the children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that create the demand that cause these industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 600,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and veterans homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So, the regular season for the 2024-2025 season is in the books. The Knicks finished the season third in the East, second 50-win season in a row. The first time that has happened in 30 years. The Knicks have two All-NBA players in Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Two All-Stars in Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. We're going to be going through this week, before the Pistons series, which the Knicks are going to be taking on the Pistons in the first round. We're going to be going through the key players, the wild cards that's going to probably decide the series for the Knicks. As far as the rotation, we know that Tom Thibodeau and most coaches, not just Thibodeau, for you knuckleheads, and that's the thing. Listen to this, Knicks Nation. Now, this is the team. 51 wins, third in the East, home court in the first round, two All-NBA players, and you got people calling for Thibodeau to be fired. Let me say that again. You got two All-Stars and All-NBA players on your team. Two of your starting five. You're third in the East. You just had your second 50-win season in a row, and you haven't done that in 30 years. And there are people claiming to be Knicks fans, calling for Tom Thibodeau, the head coach, to be fired. And others saying the Knicks stink. I want you to listen to that and listen to how ridiculous it sounds, which is why I have no patience for anybody that comes on my channel talking that negativity. None. Third in the East, second 50-win season in a row, two All-NBA players, and you got people saying, oh, this team is not complete yet. We need more trades. You got two All-NBA players. And you got a team that's built to stay together for the next 3 years at least after this season. But as a rule, old Jamaican proverb, as a rule, man is a fool. When it is hot, he wants it cool. When it is cool, he wants it hot. Always wanting what is not. Unfortunately, that's Knicks media and some of Knicks fan base in New York. But anyway, for those of us that have our right mind, let's continue. So the Knicks are now preparing for the playoffs. The rotation, all you have to do really is look at I'm looking at BSPN, and I have it set to the Knicks, of course. So you look at the first in terms of the games played. Brunson, 65, Cat, 72, OG, 74, Bridges, 82, Hart, 77, McBride, 64. And you're looking at that. Now, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, Tibbs uses usually 8. He uses 8, and he'll go to other players situationally. Or if somebody's in foul trouble, or if somebody's hurt, God forbid. So you got these 6 guys. That's going to be a solid piece of your 8-man rotation. Then you're going to have Mitchell Robinson, who played 17 games this year. And this is one of the positives going into the playoffs that we wanted. Now, the Knicks did not finish the season on the run we would expect as a Tom Thibodeau team usually does. But there's reasons for that. And I'm not buying all these claiming to be Knicks fans that claim this is just excuses. Again, when you have a rational, balanced mind, you can decipher between what an excuse is, which is something that's not rational, versus a reason, which is something that's legitimate. Okay? So if you have a champion thoroughbred horse and it's running in the race for the Triple Crown and it gets to the last 10 yards and sprains its paw, sprains its hoof, and starts to limp and then comes in last, you can't say it's an excuse that it didn't win because it sprained its hoof. But that's what some people will say in Knicks Nation in that scenario. So the Knicks played a whole month without their best player, Jalen Brunson. The Knicks played all season without Mitchell Robinson. And then when they got him back, which apparently they got him back for 17 games, he is minutes restricted and he can't play back-to-backs. So that hindered what we would normally see as a run at the end. And again, I likened it, if you don't understand, because I understand when you got all kind of negative noise in the air with respect to the Knicks, especially if you on certain platforms that definitely specialize in backhanding Thibodeau and backhanding the Knicks while trying to talk out of both sides of their mouth. But if you took Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for 15 games in March away from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and you took away Chet Holmgren the whole season and then brought him back and can only play him 18 minutes and cannot play him back-to-back games, you telling me that Oklahoma City would have still ended up with 68 wins? Or if you took Jason Tatum away for the whole month of March from the Celtics, would they have finished where they finished? Would they have won 60 games? Or if you took Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell away from Cleveland, would they be top in the East? The answer is no. And yet people want to claim the Knicks losing their best player for a month and one of the top offensive rebounds and rim protectors for most of the season is an excuse. Well, anyway, Mitch Rob is back. And Tom Thibodeau expressed yesterday that there's no minutes restriction in the playoffs. That there's no back-to-back. So we can expect to see a lot of Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, by the way, Mitchell Robinson has playoff experience. And Mitchell Robinson has, in his career, dominated in the playoffs against guys like Joel Embiid and against teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it's not like he's new to that. We got him back ready to go for the playoffs, okay? Now, so that's your seventh guy, right? The eighth guy is what's going to be interesting because you see, Cameron Payne has appeared in 72 games for the New York Knicks and started 5. Landry Shamet has appeared in 50 games, but Landry Shamet, as we know, has come back from shoulder. He didn't take surgery on his shoulder, but he had a serious shoulder issue the first part of the season. And then for about, when he came back, I'd say 2 months, a good 2 months, he was trying to find his rhythm and couldn't hit the broadside of a ball. But then about, I'd say maybe 10 games ago, we all noticed, or most of us noticed, that he started finding his stroke. And he started shooting the ball better and better as the end of the season came until yesterday. He ended up nailing, I think, 7 3-pointers against the Nets. He's ready for the playoffs. So you might get Landry Shamet as your eighth guy, with Cameron Payne as that situational guy. The odd man out, unfortunately, is Precious Achiuwa, who started 10 games, who appeared in 57 games, who also missed 21 games with the hammy earlier this year. I think this was a really tough season for Precious because I was expecting big things of him. And not that he can't produce big things, but I think that hammy and then trying to come back from that slowly kind of messed his season up. Because Precious is that guy that needs, a good 30 minutes for him to really, you want to see what you got with him, you got to roll him out there for at least 27 minutes, maybe more than 30. And the more you play him, the better he will be. He's not even in his prime yet, still a young dude, 25, and he could ball. But in this scenario, because you shorten your rotation, he's also going to be situational. Okay, now, you see, you're going to have you're going to have Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns obviously is going to start. You're not going to change your starting five, okay? You don't make sudden changes to your rotation before the playoffs. You just don't do that. You guys are looking for the rhythm they had all season, the minutes they're used to, and the position they're used to getting them in. The only real change is Mitchell Robinson, for obvious reasons. But he's not starting. You're going to still start Brunson, Cat, OG, McCall, and Josh. That's your starting five. They're all ready. They're all healthy. They're all ready to go for the playoffs. And they all got playoff experience. And they're ready to rock. They know what it's about. This is a new season. Everybody starts at 0-0 in the playoffs. They're 0-0, 0-0. No wins, no losses. You start the same. Okay, so you got to come. It's a different season. It's a much more physical game. Hopefully the referees will not try to control the game in terms of taking it away from one to give it to another. We know what that's about. But if they let them play, like most of the times they do in the playoffs, the Knicks going to be all right. But you're going to start Karl Anthony Towns. But you're going to have sets where you're running with Towns and Mitchell Robinson with Deuce, Brunson, and Shamet. You're going to have sets like that. That's going to be dynamite too. So having Mitchell Robinson come back now at this time, healthy and ready to go, having been saved really with the minutes restriction and no back-to-backs, I think we're going to be in good shape there. And then having Shamet now fully healthy and having found his shooting stroke. See, in the playoffs, it's a half-court game. The game slows down. It's more physical. And not only that, you got to make stops, okay? So you got to make stops. That's the key thing here in the playoffs. And in making stops, you also got to get the rebounds. So getting stops, getting rebounds. And so in a game like that, when it's real physical and it's half-court and every stop is important, every single one, hitting a shot is big, okay? Especially, in a close game. Let's say you get 3 stops, you're closing out a game. If you can get somebody to nail a 3, that's big time. It's magnified in the playoffs. It's magnified 10 times in the playoffs than a regular season game. Magnified, okay? Which is why Jalen Brunson is real important, because he also is a big-time playoff performer and knows how to do that in the tight spot in the playoffs, right? So, Jalen Brunson is important, but you get a guy, it's them ancillary guys. So everybody in the world is going to be expecting Brunson to do what he does, and he's going to do it like all the players. This is the time for your Luka Doncic's to come out. This is why these guys get so much money. It's for Luka, it's guys like Kawhi and Harden. And, this is where you were expecting to see your Donovan Mitchells, your Darius Garlands. This is where you're expecting to see your Tatums and Browns. This is where it's coming. This is what it's about, okay? This is where Hartenstein, every rebound becomes huge. And he can rebound, like what I mean. So everything is magnified. But when you get your ancillary dudes, especially your bench pieces, that can hit a big shot in those scenarios. You see, you got to play hard on Brunson. You got to double him. You got to watch Karl Anthony Towns. You got to have somebody on OG Anunoby, right? So if you could get a guy that they can't guard everybody. So if you could get a guy like a Shamet that could come off the bench and nail a 3 in those scenarios, it becomes huge, okay? That's what makes Detroit dangerous. You got Cade Cunningham. You know he's going to do what he does, right? But then you got coming off your bench Malik Beasley. And you got to guard him. If you don't, he might hit 6 threes on you. See? So, and Malik got playoff experience too, just like Shamet. Shamet has played, but they brought out yesterday, 50 playoff games himself. So he has playoff experience. He knows what that's about. And he's very professional. in his craft. He know what his role is and know what he's here to do, and he does it well. So he's healthy. He's coming off the bench. That's why I think you're going to probably see more of him than Payne. That's no slight on Payne, okay? But shooting with defense is Shamet. And he can play NBA level, hard playoff defense. And he can hit a big shot, okay, consistently. So that's going to be a key for the Knicks. So I think that eighth guy is probably going to be Shamet. Probably going to be Shamet. And then you're going to have Payne getting those situational minutes behind Shamet and behind Deuce. And then as far as the front court, you're going to have Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, and you're going to have Mitchell Robinson, okay? You know, they're going to be playing, they're going to be rotating along that front line. And if somebody gets in foul trouble, God forbid anybody should get hurt. But if somebody gets in foul trouble, you'll see Precious Achiuwa, which is not going to be the best situation for him to be in, but that's what we got. So in the backcourt at the point guard spot, okay, or put it this way, at the guard spot, because really you got Brunson playing the one, you're going to have Josh Hart playing the two. Then you're going to have Deuce that plays the one or the two. And then you're going to have Shamet that really plays the two. So you got those four guys, right? So between the one spot and the two spot on the floor, you get 48 minutes in each spot. That's the game. The game is 48 minutes long. So that way, that position is going to play 48 minutes, whoever's in it, right? So you got 96 minutes between the two spots, okay? You got to figure Brunson's going to be doing 36 a game. So that leaves you 60 minutes, okay? Now, Josh Hart, you can't really just allocate him all his minutes at the two because Josh Hart plays the three and the four as well and will do it during the course of any game. You'll see Josh Hart playing more than one position. So it's hard to allocate his minutes. But the rest of them minutes, you're talking about 60 minutes, that's going to be Deuce getting 30. Okay, and then you're going to see Shamet, maybe Payne, and then you're going to see Shamet and some Josh Hart splitting the rest of them at the two spot. You're going to see also Josh Hart splitting minutes at the three spot. Then you're also going to see Josh Hart splitting minutes at the four spot because he plays all those positions. Okay, and so you're going to see Josh Hart getting 35, 40 minutes a game. This is where all of these guys are preparing. All of these minutes police that's been talking all this crap all season long. I want y'all, some of y'all, to remember, please, this is what they do it for. To get to the point in the playoffs where they can play 40 minutes. And they're used to it. Okay, this is what you do it for. And there's no back-to-backs. It's one team you're playing. And you get a couple of days off between games. That's why you prepare during the season. That's why Tibbs does what he does. For all you whiners that in October and November and December are counting everybody's minutes and the Knicks are leading the NBA in minutes and he's going to run it. It's the same crap every year. Some of y'all need to wake up and see it. This is why. You get to this point and you can play them cats and you ain't got to worry about them being tired and you ain't got to worry about them not used to the minutes. You ain't got to worry about them not used to the intensity. They're in it and we ready. Okay, so we're going to talk more about the different players this week that are going to play major roles in helping us. You know, obviously it's Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, but like I mentioned, there's going to be some ancillary pieces like a Shamet. That's going to be very important, okay, for us to try, you know, to advance out of this first round. You all enjoy your Monday. So